Hey guys, so today we are moving on with our summer of emotion regulation. We've done opposite action and check the facts. Today we're doing problem solving. And in a lot of ways, problem solving is the most simple, straightforward of all the DBT skills. If we know how to create a solution for this thing, whatever is causing our emotions in the moment, and we have the ability to implement that solution, problem solving is great. It's not going to be a skill for every time though, because like a lot of times we're coming up against systems or things that are more powerful than us that we don't have the ability to create and implement a solution. So it's not one we're going to use all the time, but it is helpful in a lot of situations. And it goes into a couple of steps that if you're not thinking about problem solving from a DBT perspective, you probably haven't thought of it kind of in this light before. So in our land of emotion regulation, we do a lot of skill stacking in all of DBT, right? And usually in emotion regulation, the first thing we're going to do is check the facts, right? We're going to see, does this emotion make sense for the current situation, or does it not make sense for the current situation? So it's coming from like history or from vulnerability factors or some other thing that's coming into play. Once we've gotten past check the facts, that's then when we move to problem solving. So sometimes just checking the facts and like labeling our distortions and rewriting them, like that's enough to fix the emotions that we're having. If that's not the case, then we move to this skill. So it breaks problem solving down into 7 steps. And the first one is almost identical to the first step of check the facts. Figure out and describe the problem situation. Tell me in detail what's going on without using judgments, without using evaluative language, just sticking to the facts that everybody who was in the room could observe and agree on the description. Labeling in as neutral of a manner as possible what's going on that's caused those emotions. Step 2 is to check the facts. So we're going to go back and look at, are there any distortions? Are there any places where that I am assuming a fear or a threat, that there's not actually a fear or a threat coming at me? That's what's happening a lot of time when we have those emotions based out of history, right? Like old trauma sneaks into the current moment and we add more emotional intensity to what's going on now than is necessary because like this old junk is circulating in and mixing with the new junk. So step 2, check the facts. Step 3 is identify the goal in solving your problem. So using again our non-judgmental language, what is the thing that we want to achieve? It's not good enough just to know what we want to avoid, right? A lot of us who are emotionally sensitive, we think about like, I want to avoid this getting out of hand, or I don't want to have to. We want to stick with positive affirmative language. I am trying to achieve the thing that I would like to see come out of this is. That's just a little tweak, but has a real impact on your brain because of how we work with negatives and stuff. So sticking to that positive language, this is what I need to achieve. Number 4 is to brainstorm lots of solutions. And this is the place where it does get different from problem solving and other things. In DBT, when we do this in group, we come up with a problem, right? Like that we all agree we're going to work on. And we each have to come up with like 10 to 15 different solutions. And the point of brainstorming is not to necessarily come up with the solutions that you are going to implement. It's to come up with the variety of the solutions. Because a lot of times when we feel stuck or we feel like I can't get to what I need, it's because we think there is a specific path. Like I have to do this to get to this. And so in brainstorming, what we're trying to do is we're trying to open up those neural pathways and access other potential outcomes and like problem solving pathways that are not our default. So they're harder to get to. They're not the things that we think of first or second time. They're the things that like, oh, like what would be an interesting solution to that? What's something that, maybe not everybody would figure out how to do this way. That's the point of our brainstorming. And so when we're doing this, we don't want to judge any of the solutions. Some of them may be feasible, some of them may not. But the point is to just stay in that process of kind of churning out solutions for a little while. And if you're having trouble doing this by yourself, call a trusted friend and talk it out with them because they don't live in your body. And so they're going to have different ways for solving problems than you. And they might have a way that's really effective and can help you integrate into your skill toolbox. All right. So step 5 is to look at your brainstorming solutions and choose one to try to implement. Just pick, right? It doesn't have to be based on what appeals to you, what you think might work, what you haven't tried before. You get to pick. It's your life. But we're going to try to implement one solution. So step 6 is putting that solution into work and seeing what happens. What occurs in your environment when you go out and do these things that you've thought about? Are you able to like control the original situation that was causing you negative emotions? Have you been able to like shift the path to something different? Or do things still feel the same? If things feel the same, we go to step 7, which is evaluate and reassess. So if we're not to the end result that we're hoping for, go back to our brainstorming list and look at other things and try again. Remembering that problem solving is not always the solution. And especially in DBT where we're balancing acceptance versus change, this is a change focused skill. And so if we've tried 3 or 4 solutions by ourselves and we can't get any movement, we still feel stuck in that exact same position as where we started, then we may be wanting to look at applying our radical acceptance skills to this situation. Because if we're trying over and over and over and we're not getting results, that can be really defeating. And the path out of misery and defeat is radical acceptance. Okay, nice simple skill today. Goes along with page 241 and 289, 290 in the workbook. See you guys next week.